Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing a Mercedes G63 G Wagon. And quick spoiler alert, there aren't really any major changes for 24 like everyone thought. But anyways, before we get into this video, I'm going to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Mercedes-Benz of Salt Lake City, Utah for giving me some time with this G Wagon. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions, just ask for Dylan. And then on a side note, if you're going to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Powering this is a hand-built 4-liter twin-turbo V8 that goes through a 9-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are a whopping 577 horsepower and then 627 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, first off, it's actually super light to lift up, which I always think is a cool thing with the G Wagon. Got the Mercedes logo, and then you've got the turn signal indicators here on the top, which is such a cool feature. Circular headlights down below with the Mercedes-Benz star front and center. And then with the G63, the brush guards at the bottom, that's one of the easiest ways to tell if it's a G63 is if the brush guard's on the lower section. And putting it all together, I love it in this metallic gray. I think it looks really sharp. Now around the side here, our tire wheel setup is 285, 45, 21 in the front and over in the rear. And I love the matte finish here on the AMG style wheels. Also have massive brakes here with the 63 version AMG there on the red brake caliper. And then we've got these really nice body painted fender flares, and then you guys can see V8 bi-turbo there on the side. And then you got these side steps that are kind of a part of the bodywork, and of course the exhaust tips that poke out the side. And then here is your full side profile. I mean, this thing just looks like a tank. Now, taking a look at the key fob, we have our lock and unlock function. We got the AMG logo there on the bottom, and it's got kind of like a nice weighty feel to it. Now, popping into the back, first off, nice clicky sound with opening up the door. And then you guys can see here, we got like the leather trim on it, which is absolutely fascinating. But anyways, we've got a cargo cover here in the rear, AMG floor mats down below. And so we do have this like kind of area here that does eat up a little bit of the storage space, but overall tons of vertical space. Very practical vehicle that apparently you can't see the rear end because of the sunlight. But anyways, when you're all done, satisfying click sound. You guys probably noticed the G63 badge, and then you got the taillights down below, parking sensors here at the bottom. I like that over the receiver hitch, little AMG logo. Anyways, got the spare tire cover as well. And putting it all together, well, it looks like a G Wagon. Now, taking a look at the door panel, you guys can see soft touch here at the top and then also down below. By the way, whoever spec'd this out did a good job because they picked out the trim here that has more of the cowhide texture. This holds up over time way better than like the super soft touch leather, for those of you that are wondering. Anyways, carbon fiber trim down below. We got speaker for the Burmester sound system, heated seats here for the rear. And here are those seats you guys can see perforated all down the center portion. Now, it's actually super comfy back here. The legroom, like the space isn't massive between me and the driver's seat, but still, it's actually really comfortable. It feels spacious. And then you guys can see we've got some vents here. We've got our own climate zone in the back. And then headroom, of course, is fantastic. Now, taking a look at the front door panel, again, soft touch here, and then you can see the trim down below. And then I love the handle. It has like a very sturdy look and feel. And then you got the carbon fiber trim down below. All of our seat adjustments here. We also have heated and cooled seats. We've got all of our window controls. We've got our power folding mirror function, and then blind spot ring with the mirrors too. Now, taking a look at the front seat, again, really nice leather trim, AMG logo there, and then perforated all down the center portion. And then really nice pedals down below. We've got all of our light controls here with our lane departure, and then again, more of that nice trim here on the dash. Now, taking a look at the steering wheel, this has the cool AMG steering wheel with carbon fiber at the top and at the bottom, then Alcantara on either side. Really nice paddle shifters as well. Got your drive mode select on the steering wheel, and then you got stuff like the suspension, the exhaust, but you can also press this to activate it, or you can press the screen to change what you are adjusting there on that little screen, which is cool. We've got adaptive cruise control as well as controls here for like the infotainment system. Oh, and almost forgot, we got the column shifter, normal Mercedes-Benz fashion. Anyways, got the digital gauge cluster here in the center, which overall, I like the design here, but we can also change what it looks like. We can also change the info that shows up here in the center. Pretty dang customizable. And then with the G63, you do get a 360 camera system, so you can see the bird's eye view and the view at the back. Resolution's pretty good. This isn't Mercedes' newest camera system because it's not their newest infotainment system, but, you know, I think it still gets the job done. And then as for the rest of the infotainment system, again, this looks like they're not changing this. Again, everyone thought they might be going for a newer unit, but it looks like we're sticking with the old one for the time being. And the last thing while we're on the system here is the drive mode. So you guys can see, got a bunch of different drive modes here with the G63 for both on-road use and, you know, inclement weather conditions to an extent. Anyways, again, soft touch trim all over the dash here, and then we got the grab handle with the carbon fiber. Definitely has a sturdy feel to it. And then big glove box. Got a nice trim here on the outside of the glove box too. And then we've got all of our locking differentials. So you've got your center, your rear, and your front locking differential if you ever take this off-road. But pro tip, like if you're in, you know, a situation where there's a ton of snow or something and you're struggling, center locker is sometimes good to use. Again, depends on the situation. Anyways, down below you guys can see here with our dual zone climate controls, got a little clock as well. And then we got this carbon fiber trim here that covers up the cup holders. And then this is the control for the infotainment system. You got the dial or this little keypad here, whichever you want to use. Pretty easy to use overall. And you got your volume control, and then that's for the exhaust, camera system, your low range, because it does have a 2-speed transfer case. And then you've got this for the drive mode select, your manual mode, suspension, and then the stability control. And then with the center console, pretty big opening, got some USBs there. Nice trim here on the outside. And then up top we got a control here for the sunroof, just a regular sunroof here in the G Wagon. And then this one has a nice headliner too. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility over the hood, both of the mirrors, do a blind spot monitoring throughout the rest of the rear, and let us set off. Okay, so we are setting off in the G63. I'm doing a little bit of a different driving route compared to what I normally do, just because this is where I guess I'll announce this on the channel. I've been considering not getting a G63 but a G550 for a very long time, and funny enough, I have never taken one on the interstate. So I actually just want to see what this drives like on the interstate. I want to see like what the wind noise is like and all that kind of stuff. I know random, but hopefully you guys will enjoy the review, and we'll get I guess we'll get a better acceleration because we'll actually go on the interstate. Now the reason I don't normally do this is this driving route is significantly longer than my normal driving route, which some of you might like that, but the problem is the chance of someone hitting into me or something happening to a car increases exponentially the longer I'm on the road. So that's why I typically do not do that. Gonna pop it into the Sport Plus mode so it gets extra aggressive, except we're gonna put the suspension in Comfort. So everything else is in Sport Plus except the suspension's in Comfort, because the suspension with the G63 honestly is already, it's not like super stiff, but it's stiffer. So having it in the stiffer setting doesn't really make too much sense. I will say I love how this drives so far. Like I've always been a fan of how the G Wagons drive, because it just feels like a tank. Like you have this really high seating position, but the thing that is really cool is this still handles really well. It handles surprisingly well for how big it is and how much of a block of cheese this thing is. You gotta love the sound of that V8. Did that person literally just smash into that? No, almost though. It looks like they almost did. I mean, yeah, the steering is like this is definitely not a sports car by any means. So you do have a little bit of vagueness with the steering. It's not bad though. But yeah, I mean, for how big this is and everything, like you'd think that the body roll would be just horrible. And it's honestly not that bad. Again, all things considered. Again, when you compare this to like a Wrangler or a Bronco that, you know, some people compare it to, yeah, it handles significantly better. Might not, actually, I think it might handle just as well as the new Land Rover Defender. That one's unibody with independent front and rear suspension, which helps out quite a bit with ride and everything, but I don't know, I like how this rides. To get a punch a little bit here. Oh man, I hate when people install, like, they always do their turn signal last minute. It's like, okay. Anyways, yeah, it's got some good power. It has some good power. And the wind noise on the interstate, I thought it would be bad. You do hear wind, like there is wind noise, but again, compared to Wrangler and Bronco and even Defender, I feel like it's more insulated. So I find that to be kind of fascinating, because you'd think that the Defender being unibody and all that would probably feel a little bit more. It's got so much power. That's really fun. We're gonna pop into the manual mode. So much torque. And the transmission's, I mean, pressing the pedal, transmission's quick to respond. This thing should not be this fast. For how big this is, it should not be this fast. But yeah, the wind noise is not, for being again a block of cheese, the wind noise is not nearly as bad as I thought it would be. So to sum things up here, again, it doesn't, like, other than like different colors and all that kind of stuff, doesn't look like there's any major changes for 24, maybe 25 will have major changes for the G Wagon. But at the same time, like, these sell so well that Mercedes doesn't really need to change as much with it. I would say that a new cluster would be cool to have, but I mean, this one, honestly, like, I think it's fine. I know some people might be annoyed by the fact that it's not a touchscreen, but yeah, for me, I don't really care all that much. Actually, anyways, G63 looks fantastic, drives fantastic. I've said this before, I still agree with this. I think this is the best, like, all around vehicle. I don't think that as soon as you, like, this is very expensive. Going above this, there's like no benefit, in my opinion. From what I've driven, it seems like this is kind of like the pinnacle, in a sense, of like build quality. And obviously it doesn't have the best performance, like, you know, Lamborghini Urus, all that kind of stuff. SUVs wise, it's gonna have better performance, but in terms of, like, I guess, driving experience, I just don't think you can really beat it. But let me know what you guys think about the G63.